All right, I'm going to show you guys a tutorial on how to make our surrealistic artwork. There will be some parts that I want you to follow exactly and some parts that you can kind of go your own way on. Here is my sketch. We're going to be using different elements of the artworks that we've studied this week from our surrealistic artworks, and we're going to be using a pencil and a plain piece of paper. So if you are at home working on this, I would like you to definitely use a clear piece of paper that does not have any lines on it. You'll also need a ruler. If you don't have a ruler, just use another piece of paper that has a straight edge. All right, so we want to go ahead and measure all the way across the page. My ruler is not quite long enough, so I'm going to supplement that by folding this over and lining it up with my ruler. So we want to go from corner to corner, drawing. It's kind of difficult to do this, but gotta do what you gotta do. Okay, so I'm gonna draw a really light line. You guys may not be able to see it actually because it's gonna be so light. And then I'm gonna go again from the other corner. Might be easier like this. Let me see. Yeah. Okay, from this corner to this corner. There we go. So you can see the point where my diagonal lines cross. That is going to be what we call my vanishing point. So I'm going to make a small dot there, and I'm going to label it VP so that y'all can remember vanishing point. Now we're going to go ahead and decide how big we want this back wall to be. And I want it to take up about this much room. So I'm going to go ahead and get my ruler and measure an even amount across here. So this is currently, I put the 0 on this line and I put the other side on here, and that's 4.5. So I think I'm going to go ahead and make it a little bit wider. Okay. So I want this line to be straight. I don't want it wonky in any way. So definitely have it go straight across. And I'm going to put mine at 5. So my 0 mark is on this point, and my 5 tick is on this point. I'm going to draw a line across. All right, I'm going to do the same thing up here. It needs to be straight, and I'm going to mark it at the 0 and the 5. All right, so now I'm just going to connect from here to here, and I'm also going to connect from here to here. So using my ruler or a piece of paper if that's all you have. I like to rotate my paper. It makes things faster so you don't have to keep everything in the same spot. All right, so at this point you should have basically a very light X across your page and a square, or sorry, not a square, a rectangle through here that should be pretty much straight on the top and the bottom and the sides. So to create our walls going this way, we know. All right, so kind of skipping ahead slash cutting back. In my original video, I made a mistake and I drew my top of my walls going down this way, which does not match with perspective 1-point drawing. So my art should look more like this example here. So this is what y'all's will look like at this point. So instead of drawing my lines to go down like this, I'm going to go ahead and reference my vanishing point again, which is around right here. And I'm going to get my ruler and double check that because I made a mistake. It's okay. Everyone does make mistakes, so, it can be expected. But when you make mistakes, you just have to fix it. So I actually will have quite a bit to fix. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my new top of the wall. It's going to be going from my vanishing point to the corner. And then I'm also going to draw from the edge of my wall to the corner. Now, I drew my clock right here, one of my melting clocks, so I'm going to erase the part of the wall that goes behind that. Okay. And then I'll need to do the same on the other side here. It looks like I didn't match this up exactly with the corner, so we'll still go a little outside of that. So something like that. All right, so now I need to erase this part and this part because I already started shading, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to use a bigger eraser so I don't waste the one that's on here. Okay. Luckily, that came off pretty easily. And same on this side. All right. So now I fixed the walls, and this actually does look a lot more 3D now. Way better. All right, but now what I need to do is fix my windows here. These are kind of short, and I might actually leave them short, but I'm going to add some other windows up top, I guess. So I'll just make it a little bit more complex. So I'm going to use my vanishing point, which I marked a little bit darker. You can see there. And make some rectangle windows. All right, so now that I have my lines going outwards, I'm going to connect to these and make sure that it's as straight as can be. And, let's just have these go off the page. And I'll do another one over here. Actually on this side, I'm just going to have this big door get taller. Something like that. All right, and then I'll erase this part. Okay, awesome. So that actually gives me more room to do some gesture here, kind of improve that out. And then that also gives me more shading that I'll need to do here, and I'll go back to that in just a second. On, I want to draw my windows. To do this, I'm going to draw 2 straight lines going upwards and then connect them with an arch. I'm kind of freehanding these, but if you want to use a ruler, do that. Make sure that your arch looks even, because that's the way that Datura's artwork looks. So try and make it as even as you can. Okay, so now I have my back wall arch, and I'm going to make my side wall arches as well. So here we're going to go ahead and draw another line going straight up. And then it's going to curve towards me like this. And then over here I'll have the corner you can barely see of it. All right, let's do one more. This is not my typical style of art, so I'm definitely struggling a little bit. I usually try and draw like more freehand, fun things. So if you're feeling like you're being challenged right now, you're not alone. This is a little bit different. All right, so I'm just going to darken my lines for my walls, and I'm going to erase off everything except for my vanishing point from the X in the background. So make sure you leave that vanishing point. Okay, now we're going to make the floor. This is what this is looking like so far. To do the checkered floor, you need to use a ruler and mark out every 1/2 inch on here. So it's going to be then I want you to put your ruler at the vanishing point. So line it up here, and then line up your ruler also with each of the tick marks and draw a line like this. So they should each be at a slightly different angle. They're not all going to be the same. I started a project similar to this last year with some of my students, and this was a point where like everyone got confused. Make sure you line up the ruler between this point and your tick mark, and then just draw whatever is happening here. So between the vanishing point and your tick mark, draw. Vanishing point, tick mark, draw. Vanishing point, tick mark, draw. Vanishing point, tick mark, draw. All right, so now you can see I have a floor that looks like it's coming towards me, which is pretty cool. This doesn't actually look right to me for some reason, so I might need to check my perspective on this. And maybe this needs to be more of a stronger curve. Something like that might look better. Who knows? All right, we'll come back to that and correct that as needed. All right, so time to do the bottom of the floor. I made marks every tick mark, so I'm going to start from the corner and lay my ruler out. I'm going to do a mark every ½ inch. And same on this side, from the corner out, make a mark every ½ inch. Now I'm going to connect between the two. This should be straight across. This is going to make a checkerboard style floor, which is going to look really fun, poppy in our art. Now I think I'll be using just pencil for this assignment, and my work will be basically shades of value created with the pencil. But if you want to use color as well, if you have colors at home, you're welcome to do that. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. I want to start drawing my clocks. So I'm going to have 2 melting clocks. Now, this is a part where I want you guys to differentiate from me. So the ground here, sorry, the ground and the walls needs to be the same. But when it comes to the clocks positioning, you can put these wherever you want. So don't copycat where I put mine, put yours somewhere else. So for example, here's my first sketch. For my second sketch, I'm going to have one over here. And it's melty, so it's going to be kind of a blob. And then I'm drawing it on the other side of the wall too. All right. And then I'm going to draw the clock frame. All right. And then let's see here. One more. And this one, you can have it anywhere, but let's have it be going off the page. So you can do it this corner, anywhere up here, going off the page. So these look kind of like pizzas at this point. I'm not mad about it. Okay. All right, so the clocks are not translucent or see-through. So I'm going to go ahead and erase anything that would be considered behind them. This is why it's good to draw light. All right, so my clocks are in. Now we just need to start to kind of make marks on them. That looks like a clock. So clocks have a center point. They have one long hand. And one short hand. And then they've got different markings. And the markings are going to be kind of off, right? Because of